Whether they're stealing your data or they're doing something worse. If it's free, you're the product.
Today, we have Cynthia Kaiser. Cynthia is the former Deputy Assistant Director of the FBI's Cyber Division.
There's a lot of VPNs out there that are just like masks for cybercrime. AI right now, the one thing it's really good at is making lies believable. They have like 13-year-old, 14-year-olds information. They have that forever.
She was in a division of ransomware, cyber attacks, negotiation with terrorists.
So if you get attacked, maybe you pay them, but then you're known as someone who pays. There's one time I know a huge corporation paid a huge ransom and then their stuff got put out on the internet anyways. We would knock on people's doors and the parents would have no clue until they've committed a federal crime.
Do you know things that haunt you that you have to take to your grave and you will wear that weight for the rest of your life?
Absolutely.
Well, then that poses the question about TikTok.
We don't have TikTok in my house.
Cynthia, welcome. Thank you so much for being
Yeah.
here. This is so exciting. And we were just talking before rolling that this is kind of like FBI week for us because we just had Eric O'Neill yesterday, which will air 2 weeks before this. So this will be a few weeks after. But
I was like literally like going through all your resume and all your amazing freaking accomplishments. And I said, Eli, I was like, she has so many careers.
And you're so young. Like, how have you done all this?
I don't know if I'm that young. Maybe I just look a little young. I'm going to take it as a compliment and move on.
Thank you so much for coming. Like, we're so excited.
We have a million questions, but that's so cool. And you were, if I'm getting this right, you were the former Deputy Assistant Director of the FBI's Cyber Division.
I was, yes.
That's insane. Like, how did you
get into all of
What's
this?
the background there? How did that come to pass?
So, I mean, like most people in the FBI, I guess, I fell into it by accident. I'm kidding, right? I don't think actually that's normal, right? Right? So I actually was abroad and living abroad after college and thought, I don't really know what I want to do. An ad for the FBI came up. I applied. I forgot. And then my mom called me and she goes, the FBI is calling us about you and we don't know why. And I was like, oh yeah, I applied, right?
Had you applied to other law enforcement too? Or was that just like a whim?
It was almost a whim because I was thinking more about like grad school versus work, right?
Yeah.
And just like balancing that. And so they were interviewing the last day of interviews was the day after I got off the plane. So it was like the middle of my night. I got there. I'd been living in Korea for a year. And so
South Korea.
Yeah, right? South Korea. Yes. And so
I mean,
good clarification. And so I bowed at my interview. So I like to joke they must have been like, she's so respectful, like because I'd been in Korean society and all this for a long time. And so they gave me the offer and, kind of took off.
That would
have been, so I applied in
20 years, right?
2005. Yes. And so, got my offer letter right at the end of the year. Right. And
you just
started
last year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Just about 8 months ago. So 20 years in the FBI. Amazing. I wouldn't give up a minute.
I just about to say that. Maybe we're going to start all the way from the end. How is your life right now? How is all these 8 months been after you like fully free? I mean, not fully free, but
less stressful. Yeah, at the FBI, you're always on. Like, it doesn't matter if you're off, you're checking your phone. Someone might call you. The cold calls happen a lot, into you.
Midnight.
And or like you're doing full night shifts. I mean, I've done night shifts in my career. Most FBI people I know can tell you the hour at which they can no longer be without sleep. Mine's 40. I am not nice after that.
Oh,
turns out really not nice.
I can't last 40. So the very first question I asked Eric, and I think it applies here too, it's like our very minimal experience with working with feds and with specifically FBI, we had a little collaboration with for a time a few years ago. But everything is so secretive. Everything is so you can't talk about it. You can't. It's all a secret.
They give us nicknames.
Yeah,
we cannot go by international anymore.
The code names and stuff.
You got your code name.
And all stuff. I'm sure you know way more about than we do. But how does it go from that to then? And I said the same thing to Eric. Now you're a speaker. You're podcasting. You're talking very openly about this. Is that a gradual process? Is there a line that you can now step over? Do you have to ask for permission? How does that work?
So the first time I even just was because I used to edit a lot of stuff that came out of the FBI, right? So the first time I was editing something that was going to go on the internet, I was seized up. And that was really only kind of maybe 2017. And I remember, and it was like something really innocuous, like not high stakes, right? Internet connected toys, like probably threats from them or something along those lines. But I was just like so nervous because I'd never put stuff out there publicly. I'd never done that because in most of my career, I worked counterintelligence, right? Like the catching spies. I worked WMD, like catching people who are actually like proliferating really bad things.
And you do a lot of undercover work too, right?
Well, I'm more of the undercover support is how I'd put it, right? On the analyst side. But I like it. You do all this stuff in secret. And then I was an intelligence briefer at the White House, like daily intelligence briefer. And that's very secret, right? And then you go from that to like, you're starting to put stuff on the internet. And then it just becomes slow. And I would actually say though, I was more public than most FBI officials because in cyber, you have to be. Like you have to get the threat out. Like no one knows what's going on in it. It's not a long-standing thing. Like
you started in 2005, so you're like your career really kind of parallels the explosion of the internet.
You've seen all the
does.
developments. You've seen everything.
It does. I think we like spelled cyber with an S back then. But like, it's we really kind of been at that forefront, and to see where we've gone now, it's scary actually, because we've been working it and doing a lot, and it's still growing.
With AI and everything. And I know like you particularly been involved with AI developments and how to do. How did you end up being promoted or assigned?
Did you start in the cyber space of FBI? No,
not at all. So I started counterintelligence. So that was like the catching spies stuff. Yeah, it was super fun. Then I kind of went over in the technical, doing like weapons of mass destruction. So I was looking at like, how does North Korea get missile parts? Maybe from the US, right? And it was cool. I'm not gonna divulge all the secrets.
No comment.
Yeah. But so I did all of that. Then I ended up at the White House doing, being a daily intelligence briefer, 2016 to 2017. Do that math, right? A lot of major cyber incidents happening at that time. And I'm sitting there, I get called down after some of these, and I see the fear in some of the most powerful people in the world's eyes about what people are doing on keyboards thousands of miles away. And I was like, you know what? Like countering cyber online threats. It was like, this is the national security challenge of our lifetime. I don't want to do anything else. And I haven't since. So I came into cyber division. I'm an analyst by trade, right? So like behind the scenes, really like pulling all the picture together, like working this. And I got up to, I got successive promotions. It wasn't easy, especially in a organization like the FBI, as a woman, as somebody who's a non-agent. Yep. When I became a deputy assistant director, so there's 4 main operational divisions, maybe 2 or 3 deputy assistant directors per division. I doubled the amount of females by becoming one, which is great.
Whoa. So there was one before you.
There was one before me, and we doubled it, right? And there's been fluctuating numbers, but like at that time. So it's hard, right? Because it's hard to overcome those barriers of like, are you too, like I was told, I'm like, hey, you might not get promoted because you're too strident in your opinions. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to be as an executive? Not like, right? And like, you have to like kind of move forward. But the way I got through that is I was just honest. So when someone said that to me, I said, well, like, it's really hard for me to hear because I think you'd only say that to women.
Call it out. Yeah. Wow.
Like, you bully me, I will bully you back.
Well, it's not even bullying, right? It's just calling it out because like, if it's like, listen, if I'm not going to get the job, if I'm not going to get the job, I'm going to make it easier for someone behind me to at least.
Right.
So, but it ended up working out. Like calling that out and like nicely, like, hey, I don't know if you understand this. And because I don't think it was purposeful is the thing.
That old school mentality.
Yeah. And once I had those conversations, actually, normally it was like a really much more open conversation. It was great, but you kind of had to be okay with being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially in this position.
You said not an agent.
Yes.
Were you ever, what is the distinction? What makes you an agent versus, and then what are you if you're not an agent, but you're in the FBI? Like, how does that work?
So FBI has a lot of different jobs. And after 9/11, they realized they really needed some more analyst capabilities, right? People who are actually putting the pieces together behind the scenes, and especially in cyber, right? Where you're getting all these little pieces in, you have to do really deep dive investigations. You can see where you need people who are really focused on that part. And you need people who are specialists like agents who are great at going out, talking to people, doing undercover operations, even being able to, they can go to court, right? They can represent that and do that aspect. And then you have the intelligence side, like the intelligence aspect of FBI. And so post 9/11, that's when they're doing the advertisements, right? Like this, like, hey, come work for us, come be here. And so there's normally, there's hundreds of analysts normally in each like operational division. There's many in field offices. They're critical parts of every investigative squad. And so like you're able to have normally one analyst at that deputy assistant director level in the operational divisions.
How did you end up being in ransomware?
I'm a latecomer to ransomware, to be honest with you, and to cybercrime in general. Like when I first came over working cyber, I was doing nation state stuff like China, Russia, North Korea, Iran. And I thought that was the most important thing because I'm like, oh, it's like an existential threat to our nation. Look, all the big things they could do. And that's still really important. Yeah. It's still a really big threat.
For sure.
But like as ransomware starts getting bigger, as you see just even like the business email compromises, the cryptocurrency fraud, like all these different like frauds.
Look what happened to casinos 2 years ago, right? And
MGM, exactly. You see this start to happen. I'm like, well, this is the threat that impacts people every day.
Small businesses, big businesses,
big
corporations.
It is. And it's not just the businesses, it's the people behind it. Yeah. So you take like ransomware, you take fraud. So by the time I left, I had the Internet Crime Complaint Center as like part of my offices that I was responsible for. Their annual report last year, and I don't know if you've ever looked at it, they talked about
IC3, right?
IC3, IC3. They put out a report and they have examples in there. And the one that struck me was there was a cryptocurrency fraud scam that FBI with partners had taken down. Over 4,000 victims, billions and billions, are probably high millions at least, right? Lost. But the statistic in there is also over 40 people referred to FBI victim assistance because of threat of suicide.
Yeah.
And so
that's a subject that touches close to home. Yeah. With, scam victims and just a lot of stuff that we see. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I can be working on these nation state things and I think it's important. I'm really glad people are working at it. But when I had the opportunity to laser focus on ransomware, I jumped at it because I think it's the way we really help people. It's the way we really help our communities. And it's the way in which we know that like these cyber criminal groups, it's not like they're doing it by themselves. It's not one person in their basement. I mean, they're backed, they're supported, and they're funding a lot more bad things happening. And we have to get a handle on it.
Well, how do you even like the group that took down the MGM? It was Black Cat, right? Is that what it was called?
For the MGM hack, it was actually Scattered Spider.
So how do you even where do you even begin to like go after an organization like that? Like how do you even identify what country they're in, let alone to combat their efforts to affect such a massive economy like that?
So it's not easy, though. I would say, the predominant majority of them are Russian speaking, whether that's in kind of adjacent countries to Russia or Russia itself.
What surprise! Wow, surprised me.
So it was you after this whole time.
Oh no!
Some of the ransomware is geared towards it actually won't conduct the attack if it detects the main language is Russian on the network.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yep.
Because they're afraid of retaliation that's equipped?
Yeah. They'll even put in there like rules for their, because they're businesses, right? They have subcontractors who actually go out and do the attack. We call them affiliates. They will put in the rules like you can't target CIS, right? Commonwealth of Independent States countries, which is basically a lot of former Soviet countries.
I was about to say, because when you speak Russian, back in the days, it was 15, 16 Soviet Union republics and Belarusian. I'm from Belarus. There are Ukrainians. There are we just had case and in Serbia, Belgrade, when they're like targeting only Canadians, scammers, investment scam, Bitcoin, all these stuff. And when somebody called us, one of our hacker, and they said like, you are Georgians. Do they speak Russian? I was like, oh, hell yeah. Georgians, as a country, Georgia, not state, they speak Georgian/Russian, Armenian, Russian. So when they said like, yeah, Russian hackers, I was like, well, hold on one second. They do speak Russian, but they not Russian.
Russian speaking hackers.
Russian speaking, yeah, that's right.
Is it true that vulnerabilities like the MGM thing, like in a lot of the cases that you've seen for ransomware, it's not hacked in the sense of like what you see on TV. It's like, oh, I'm in, right? There's some kind of social engineering or there's some kind of mistake that has to be had from someone that works there.
Yeah.
That's the reason that it happens. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like cyber problems are human problems for the most part. So in the MGM hack, and actually ScatterSpider came back last year using the same types of techniques, except with deepfakes added. But what they do is they call a help desk and they try to lie to them, get them to get them access to a system. And then once they're in, they lie to others. They figure out ways to move around to be able to get the type of access they need, right? Because like Cynthia Kaiser, I can't go under the back end of my companies and just change everything about my system, right? It'll be like, no, you need admin access.
Yeah, exactly.
So first they get in through that help desk, then
As
they're
like
going
a customer, they pose as a customer.
No, they'll pose as an employee that needs like a password reset.
Okay.
And then they'll try to escalate those privileges. So I saw one example where they just got on and, you have like the, typing to your help desk and they're like, I need emergency admin access. And they got it. It's not supposed to happen, right? But this is how some of that works is it's just kind of normal, almost like spying or manipulating of people to actually get in. And it's huge, right? It's a huge problem. And then ScatterSpider came back last summer. And as I noted, they started using deepfakes to do that, like to use some of these AI-enabled videos to do some of its lying for them.
It actually reminds me in line what we do when scammers will call like, hey, I'm like Bank of America or Microsoft, and they'll like, hey, there is a fake pop-up or invoice. Call this number, and when you call this number, and it's going to be Indian scammers trying to get access to a computer, and as soon as they get in, job is done.
Well, it's just like even on the good side.
But in this case, they have to pretend to be employees.
Right.
Like,
but have you ever heard of Jim Browning, like the ethical hacker? Does a lot of scam baiting and stuff. Like he's a good buddy of ours. But he, like I said, one of the questions I asked him was like, how does it feel to be regarded as like one of the best hackers in the world? And he's like, I don't even call myself a hacker because I can't get into anyone's thing unless they let me. Yeah. I have to social engineer them or get them to allow me in before I can do anything.
Yeah, I used to talk when I was at the FBI. I was like, I want to live in a world in which everyone patches every vulnerability out there. They have like the right type of long passwords, that kind of two-factor, the authenticator apps you have or something like that. And I said, if I can do that, then our adversaries have to spend millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of hours to develop their unique tools. And then I get to out them and take it away.
Yeah.
It's not the world we live in. Why would you use expensive things if cheap things work?
Right. It's kind of like what we're doing with scam baiting. Like the scammers have to spend time and resources to have a new tactic, and then we can expose it, show how it works, and they can't use it anymore. So
they shut down that, and they go. Question for you on a more personal level, on a more human level. How do you build, especially you being a female, right? That you have to handle so many men being around you, all these old school blah blah blah. And meanwhile, you're building your life as a woman, as a wife, as a mother.
Yeah.
How these two lives go together?
I mean, my husband's amazing. I want to call that out.
Did you meet your husband prior to you apply or after?
After, probably in my first few years, right? Of being at the FBI, and my husband, as my career starts to go off, right, and go into more leadership roles, like more intense.
He's not the FBI.
He is not. He is a mechanical engineer. He's very happy being his mechanical engineer, energy efficiency, self.
That's a smart family over there. Oh my gosh.
Same realm.
What are we doing?
In a different department, okay.
But he goes to me, he goes, listen, I'm fine. He's like, you go chase this, like you go do these things. That's what you want to do. He goes, and I'm staying here and I'm fine, like being with the kids, like helping. He goes,
oh, you do have kids?
Yes, I do. I do have two. I have two, one teenager, one almost teenager. And
are they mechanical engineers already?
Oh my gosh.
That's their laboratory. Like, Mom!
My daughter does say that algebra's fun and she doesn't understand why everyone complains. So,
Oh my God.
She
all subjects, I love algebra, and it's always been like, I hate it.
When was the last time you used it?
All the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's true.
That's funny.
So funny. So my husband goes, go chase your dreams. But the only thing I ask, he goes, I never want to go to another work party again. I was like, done. Like,
FBI doesn't have cool work parties?
I think we all talk about FBI stuff all the time,
Oh my God.
I just imagine the looks. You bring your husband and he's like out of the group, and then just like what the conversation is like.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, he was like, I just want to like live our lives and like have it separated out, right, from the FBI. And I will say, having my kids like earlier actually in my life made it a lot easier for me to kind of push forward and lean in as I was getting to that point where I could be more of a leader, right? And I could take on like successive responsibilities. My kids are already in elementary school, we're already in things, but I miss stuff too.
Right.
I did miss a lot. And that's one of the reasons I said after 20 years, I was like, I have to do something else. I need to give back time to my kids and my family.
How many vacations did you take in all these 20 years?
Not that many.
Yeah,
not that many. I have taken a lot since.
That's good.
Trying to make up for lost time.
Yeah.
What? How you said? So you weren't at the White House very long.
A year.
A year.
Mm-hmm.
So, was there a reason for that? It sounded like you didn't really like it that much. Like,
oh no, I actually loved it.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I was what we do like in the intelligence community, like is in the FBI as a part of the intelligence community and law enforcement community, like both sides, is you can have detail assignments at other agencies, and those are about a year long. And you can also go to that like kind of the interdepartmental one, right, which is ODNI, the Director of National Intelligence. They're the ones who like actually staff all of the briefings for policymakers. So think like briefings for the president, briefings for their chief of staff, on down cabinet secretaries. And we all sit in this like one hallway while we do it. And we work all night because the briefings are in the morning. And it's amazing because you have this front row seat to all these decisions being made, supporting these important people. Someone once called it the best job you never want to have again.
Oh
which presidency that was?
Well,
Is that
probably
Obama?
a little of each, right?
Yeah, it was Obama and Trump. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I just...
Okay,
I'm sorry.
You're like,
I know, like, we literally, Eric Anil yesterday said, he was like, guys, when you go to DC, everything is wired. It's just, you get like,
spies everywhere.
Spies everywhere. How do you guys deal, like, this is freaking White House and so many leaders every single day. How, like,
and my question goes right with that, which was you mentioned about seeing terrified looks on leaders' faces. Do you have like an anecdote or like an example of something that you can talk about, of something you wouldn't have expected to be a fear of somebody in power? What
a great question. I think it's something I would have anticipated, but like in the moment it felt right, which is when we started to see cyber actors, and like we'd been tracking a lot of different hacks already, right? But we always kind of mirror imaged, right? We always said, oh, like they're probably doing what we're doing, right? Like, oh, we're probably spying. We're spying, right? And we're gathering things because we want to calibrate like how we deal with them and diplomacy, blah, blah, blah. To see it then be like weaponized, right? Like with like selective leaking, like that was something that no one had anticipated, right? It's what we call an intelligence failure. Like we hadn't thought that was going to happen. I think it's the surprise of that.
Can you explain what that is?
Yeah. So where when you hack, like a lot of times if a nation state does this, China, Russia, Iran, et cetera, they get on, they steal a lot of your files. They leave a copy, right? It's like they copy them, they bring them off. I have to explain that because I've said it before and they're like, they're gone? Yeah. No, they're not gone. Yeah. The files aren't gone, right? They're copied. And then they have them. Oftentimes what we would think is like, okay, they're going to use them. They're going to read them. They want to learn more about us. True. But then when you started to see 2016 happen, and it didn't just happen in the US, it started happening in the UK, like a lot of other places, the Russian actors, they started putting that out into the media, but like selectively, right? Like they stole this, they put it out in the media. And then it's to influence us, or it's to scare us. It's to weaponize that information against us, not just kind of this spy on spy stuff. And so no one really expected it.
It's like selective drop. It's
I'm
going to select what I want.
Publicizing the fear of it to change the habits of how you protect it.
Well, not just that. It's like trying to influence like who you vote for, or try to influence who you are going to... like legislation that might be happening that happened like in the UK, right? Like trying to influence exactly like how like different people might vote for things. I mean, they're trying to like change stuff.
That's exactly when they said like Russians, like they drop something that Russians being involved, how Trump got selected.
Well, I think like, I would say Russia probably cared more about the chaos than anything, right? They just wanted like, right? I mean, like...
That's his day-to-day.
That's actually so not about me, but yes.
Right? So, and they didn't just do it.
It's easy to navigate. There is no stability, as we know.
Yes, and they didn't just do it in that case. I guess what my point is like they did it to like just be like general like jerks on the world stage. But that's where we're like, was I surprised or were they like, it's more, we were all surprised. And that's what's scary when you didn't anticipate something, right? When you hadn't thought about what someone might do, there's a world of possibility then you start thinking what else.
But it's Russia. You should expect everything. You should expect they're going to do the dumbest shit ever and the smartest shit ever at the same time.
What is the culture like in the White House or the temperature in the room during an administration change?
You know, it felt very like business as usual. We're going to try to do this transition.
Is it as hostile as it seems from the outside?
It was not. It did not feel hostile at all during that change. It felt very much like we're trying to set like we care about America. Yeah. We're trying to set the next like folks up for success. I was actually there the day of the inauguration, right? Like kind of making sure we took the things we needed to take back, right? Yeah. Like, we're putting it back in. And it was fun because I went up and I looked and I saw them changing over the furniture in the Oval Office. And I don't know why that always sticks in my head. Yeah.
It's a different decoration. They move things.
Is security just out of control? Like just you can't even like fart without getting a clearance. Like
fart, by the way, I have a real question.
Great.
So my
question was real.
We got invited to Capitol Hill to do public speaking in front of Congress.
A caucus about anti-scam stuff. Yeah.
So even in a restroom, I should not talk shit about anybody, right? Like everything is wired, right? When I'm doing business, you should not talk about anything.
I mean, did you kind of like think to yourself though, like, go ahead, listen? Yeah. I
guess it depends.
Well, I'm gonna do a massive distraction.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna say any suggestions? I mean, like not how to behave, but anything that we should follow. Protocol being Capitol Hill and being
just for some context. So there's a as far as I understand it, and I'm a political idiot. That's why we don't even get into politics on our channel because
it's enough people.
Yeah, it's enough politics.
We here to unite, not to divide.
We're here to we expose scammers and we get on board with things that pretty much everybody can agree with, which is that scammers suck, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. As far as I understand it, there's a bipartisan caucus coming together about creating new legislation to help fight against some of the new tactics that scammers are using with crypto and different things. And we got asked to be a part of that. So we're going, I don't have the exact date yet, but soon,
first week of March.
Very soon.
After Germany,
to DC.
We're going.
So we'll be in your backyard. So that's what he's referring to, I guess.
Okay.
He's asking how do you behave?
How do you behave? I mean, like what do you do?
How do I keep him on a leash?
Wow. You know what? I think you're going to be fine. I mean, like it's not the security is the same in which if you went to like a high profile building, right? Like they're going to have your name. Well, I mean, you can't bring a weapon.
You have to leave your tanks at home.
No knives, all that stuff. But like, it's not like the airport. You can bring your water in. So like, they're going to have your name, right? You'll have the appointment. You'll go through the metal detector. You'll put your stuff through the X-ray, and the normal kind of security, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine, right? Sometimes it depends on if you're meeting with members or staff, but
Kash Patel might be actually lead this operation.
Oh, really? Listen, the more light you can put on all of this, the better. And I think what you said is really important. Like I always say that too. I was like, I don't really necessarily care about all the politics of everything happening. I was like, I want to stop cyber threats. I was like, no one's pro ransomware. No one's out there like China should be in more of our systems. I mean, this is a completely bipartisan, like everybody agrees, like we should stop bad things from happening to good people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then what do you, because you're not in the FBI anymore, but you do a lot of work with the company you're with now and a lot of awareness about ransomware. What are some of your go-to like either anecdotes or suggestions or safety precautions, maybe ones that are misunderstood or underrated to protect people, to protect themselves or their businesses or whatever it is from modern day threats?
So what's kind of understood or underrated is there's a lot of businesses that'll think like, well, I have insurance, they'll pay the ransom, I'll get back online. And that's not the way it looks at all. So if you get attacked, you're going to have negotiations. Yeah, maybe you pay them, but then you're known as someone who pays. So there's like actually a very high reinfection, retargeting rate of organizations who pay the ransom in the first place. Second, you don't just get it and go back online. There's a lot of decrypt. So when you pay for the ransom, what you're basically paying for in most cases is something called a decryptor, right? They've locked up your network. You need a key to get it back. So they're paying for that key, but sometimes it doesn't work because like bad guys put a lot more work into breaking your stuff than making it work than fixing it, right? And so you might be paying for nothing. I think like average, you can get like maybe about 60, 65% of your information back, data back. And then like your business is down for like 22 days on average. So like how many businesses on our main streets do you know that could last for over 20 days of just...
Especially with the rent, especially if you're in a big city.
Who are you seeing targeted the most like with businesses? Is it giant corporations? Or are we talking like mom and pop? Like
we just had that conversation with
Zero Day,
with
Ryan.
And it was like elder man.
It was an older
company.
man who owned a
bookkeeper or something. He walked in and the computer just completely and said, "You need to reach out to this guy. He knows what to do.
You have to go to this portal and talk to these people through this portal." And,
Great hackers.
And
who knows what to do.
Ryan actually was part of the negotiation, but they had to pay, which
they
is like
with 1 million,
which
and
is
they settled for 175.
Crazy because in almost any movie where there's like a hostage, like a physical hostage, like the whole like they never pay. Like you always think of the thematic element of like a ransom not being paid and it being fixed some other way, but it sounds like every time I hear about ransomware, I hear about people paying. That's very common, it sounds like.
It is common for people to pay.
And then do the ransom bad actors come through with their word? And like, I know you said it doesn't always work, but like...
For the most part, they do.
Do they take the money and then still keep it hostage or like...
It depends, right? I mean, there's no guarantees. There's one time I know a huge corporation paid a huge ransom and then their stuff got put out on the internet anyways because the actors just made a mistake, right? They were sloppy. There are like different, I mean, it's really complicated, but really if you pay, they're going to come back again. And if you pay, like, it's better for the ransomer of these criminals' business to not be known as someone who it never works out for, right? Because like, hey, you get a third party, you get like some kind of company to come in and help you because you have a ransomware attack. Like, okay, then you can't
trust that they're going to give it back, so you're not going to pay them. Like
Exactly. But we've seen like huge exit schemes. And by that, I mean, we saw one ransom actor, they got the ransom and then they're like, I want out. They took the money, left. All the other guys in the gang were left hanging. So they just ran. They're like, no, you got to pay us again.
What?
That's actually crazy. Well,
oh my God.
Remember what happened with AT&T, the data breach?
Yes.
Have you like any insights, anything what happened after? Like even my personal like social security, my number, everything is on dark web. And we never got acknowledgement from AT&T, but the whole world like, yeah, fuck it, it's happened. You're already inside. So what did exactly they do to prevent that happening again to big, especially cell phone companies?
So cell phone companies, it's difficult, right? Because I've worked the ransomware actor side of that. I think one of the cases you're talking about, I've also worked the China side of that, where people might have seen in the news something called Salt Typhoon, where the Chinese got onto a bunch of different telco networks, telecommunication companies, and they stole the data of just millions of users, like where you were when you made your call, how long it was, who you were calling. So that's like the data. Then they actually use that data to target specifically high-profile people and actually get content, like what they're like, unencrypted text messages, voice, all of that. So, and I get that. And that's really, to your point, like that's frustrating that they're getting that information and like, we don't want them to. But like, as a mom, when I looked at that, I was like, you mean they have my kids' data? Like, you mean they have like a 13-year-old, 14-year-old's information? They have that forever. And I'm almost more mad about that because like, if somebody, so like somebody like me, I chose to go in the public. Like I chose to talk, right? Like we've all chosen here, right? To be public. We get to make choices.
If something happens to us, we're already like, look, you sign up for
you attack
this.
people we love, and then it's a different story.
Right.
Yeah, but not even just, it's attack people or gather information about people who have nothing to do with the public, like minding their own business, going on their own life. Like this isn't the same as like when we were spying on each other with like sending people to people's capitals. It's not the same. Yeah. It makes me so angry.
How has your experience with FBI and with ransomware changed how you parent?
I know where I'm failing a lot, right? I mean, it's really difficult. I don't know fully how to secure my kids' devices like from themselves, right? Right? Every time I think I put in the right protections in place, like kids are crafty.
Like what rules do you have for them?
Oh gosh, I do have a lot of rules, right? The biggest one is we're a no social media before you're 18 household.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Like,
probably
you know about these like really big pandemic that happening to teenagers?
Exactly.
Sextortion scams.
Yes. Yeah, I know too much, right? About all of these bad things that can happen to them. But like if you just look at the studies, like how much emotionally they're impacted. And that's why I tell my kids, you can't have anything where someone can like or dislike like until you're 18. Because even as an adult, I'm not on LinkedIn, right? I post things and sometimes I'm like, oh, that didn't do as well as I thought it would. And you have that momentary moment and then you're like, but I'm a grown up, right? And I can go on, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But like even like,
can't.
No, they can't. And so I told them, I was like, so that's my big one is I don't need all this. I don't need people contacting you that don't know you, that I haven't met, right? I like meet people in person before you talk to them online. The thing we did when they were little though, which I'm really proud of, is we had them create a secret identity for the internet. So their secret identity had a different name, it had different pets, it had different favorite color.
That's interesting, right? Yeah.
It's very similar. And like the two things it helps them with is like they have answers. If someone random on a Roblox contacts them, they have answers at the ready. It also teaches them that most people lie on the internet.
Yep.
From an early age, I was like, and everybody has a secret identity.
So they're allowed to make profiles as long as it's under that identity?
Well, I mean, they're on Roblox and like, they're like, it's, the lower stakes kind of things and I can see what's happening, but I didn't want them to get jammed up, like at the moment. And, they're going to be targeted more because of me. And so it's just hard though, right? You have a teenager who wants to get around all the time, right? And some of it's,
who is a bad guy and who is a good guy in the relationship?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I think
if something happened, if you got grounded, who gonna like, all right, just don't tell mom or don't tell dad.
How
Go
funny.
until 11.
How funny. So you know what? I would say I'm mostly the bad guy, except my husband is like, hates the screens. My husband grew up without a TV.
Without TV?
Yeah, nothing.
Good for him.
Nothing. Like I was dating him and he was like, have you seen this amazing show Friends? I have.
I can relate to this. I can relate to this a lot because we only start seeing like Friends or what like X-Files only when Soviet Union collapsed. And that's what all of a sudden we have like everything coming from America and we're like late boomers. And that's why Ashton was like, you don't know this guy? You don't know this TV show? You don't know this? Like,
you only had time for the highlights.
I was like,
oh my gosh.
So I think like it's like a balance, right? But what I would just tell everybody is like, it's really hard. I've done a lot of work on thinking about juvenile cybercrime and like how you stop kids from like crossing that path of going into cybercrime because it's more difficult than other crime. It's not seen. If you think about somebody who's graffitiing a gym, like there's visible evidence. If they get caught, like a security guard, principal, even maybe a cop, right? They're going to sit them down. They're going to talk to them.
Direct accountability.
Right. Exactly. Cybercrime, like we would knock on people's doors and the parents would have no clue until they've committed a federal crime. Like there's not an off-ramp. Like it's so quiet and it's so hard. And like, so you just have to be like, you just have to know. You have to have so much visibility. Yes, exactly. And they don't think about it, right? Like all our kids are trying to figure out ways and sharing it with each other, how to get around the school's like Wi-Fi restrictions, right? Or something. I mean, and they think that's normal, but you're like, that's kind of hacking, right? Like you need to dial it back. Like, and it's really, it doesn't like administrators don't understand it. Like local police actually don't have enough they really don't have enough cyber training to be able to manage this. So then everything gets pushed up to FBI or federal law enforcement for anything on like the internet. They can't do everything. And so until someone does a big enough crime, they're under the radar. It's really like, it's so hard.
So why you, and I will finish this subject and we'll move about public education of law enforcement and everything.
Well, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I have more questions.
Okay, of course. Do whatever you want. Especially with sextortion scam, it's very important. It's something happened to our close friends when somebody knocked on parents' door at midnight with the big eyes and like that, and that immediately knew what happened. So you coming from cybersecurity, ransomware, all this stuff, did you build this trust relationship with your kids? If something happened, they can go and trust mom or dad and say like, hey, like mom and dad, I need to tell you something. Is that something that in your family been priority since the beginning?
Absolutely. Having that open communication, making them feel like they can come to you is just like some of the most important things, because like these kind of crimes, they thrive in secrets.
Yeah. If you have any advices, especially,
I was just going to say, what would if there's any parents that feel lost about how to have a handle on this with their kids, and we do obviously a lot of scam awareness that targets elders, but it also targets children a lot too. And we do a lot of like child predator catches too, where every single time we get a predator, it's because he was talking to what he thought was a minor on some random app I've never even heard of. But these kids are on these apps talking to strangers,
and
parents have no freaking clue that this is even happening. How does a parent that might feel lost approach getting a handle on this from your perspective?
So I'd say number one, know that it's okay to not have it be perfect. Like doing something is more important than doing nothing. Getting a handle on all the apps on your kid's phone, making it so that they have to request access before they're able to download it, having there just be limits in general on certain apps, being able to see, I don't think you should be spending 3 hours on this and I don't quite know what it is. Let's talk about it. But also coming at it from a perspective of let me learn more instead of punishment means that they don't feel ashamed when they come to you. Like, what if they keep using it in secret and then something bad happens? What you have to do is just have it be a relationship where you're telling them you have restrictions because you love them. That is not popular.
Yeah.
But in the end, you just have to have that. I'm open. I'm here. If something bad happens, it's not your fault. I'm putting restrictions in place to protect you, but it's not your fault if something bad happens.
Yeah. Without the blame, not putting blame immediately.
Exactly. Because like it's the shame of like my mom told me not to do this and I did it anyways. Oh gosh, you don't want that.
Yeah. And I love that what you said about creating a fake identity.
Yeah.
Third profiles that will separate, like especially with the child pedophiles, they will go after this profile and they have no idea who that person is. And that could be, God forbid, your daughter. And they will not get a hold of her because...
Goes without saying, but this is sponsored by Incogni. Incogni, thank you so much for sponsoring Trilogy Media. How many times in this podcast has it and probably will continue to be brought up about the importance of, not only online security and protecting your data, but like data being sold, data being the crux of ransomware and the fact that it can take down businesses and
AT&T. Look what happened with MGM, with casinos and everything. There is always something data breach. There is something is happening without even realizing.
Incogni is a service that actually actively works for you to remove your info off of public databases. Now, you probably might be thinking, well, I never give my information to public databases. You don't have to give it. It's already there. I challenge you to sign up for Incogni, even if it's just for the reason for you to see how many public databases your information is on right now, that not only have you not even heard of these databases, but you weren't even aware that they knew all of this stuff about you. Data gets harvested and shared and sold and spread like viruses all over the place. I personally have been a customer of Incogni for years, and it's in the thousands of how many data brokers they have removed my personal information off of. They do it automated. They do it affordably. You don't have to do a damn thing other than just sign up and trust them and just let them do their thing. They'll handle all the objections for you. It's awesome. You need to try it.
Since 2019, we've been working with Incogni, and like Ashen said, it got to the point like I have no problem to go to the places or put my email on a blast because I know exactly what's gonna happen. I have Incogni gonna protect, Incogni gonna delete, Incogni gonna send me monthly reports about what they've been doing while me and Ashen were freezing balls our nuts in Arkansas and chasing and arresting scammers. I have no problem sharing my information.
We're about to talk to Cynthia about the importance of using different passwords, because I know if you're watching this, you've probably done it before. We're all guilty of it at some point, of using a same or similar password across different devices. Well, that one password gets leaked and all of your accounts are in jeopardy because they can use that for password reset. It goes so deep and so dangerous. You need to have your data removed. Your old email addresses, your old passwords, your address, your physical address. I don't want people knowing where I live. Incogni does all of this for you. Incogni.com/trilogy, the link in the description below, will get you 60% off an entire year. Everything's automated. You don't have to do anything. And they're going to remind you with privacy reports routinely showing you how much work has been done, how many data brokers have removed your information based on their request. Everything is documented. Everything is there. The proof is in the pudding.
It's actually scary to think that everything, which is absolutely true, everything that we do online has fingerprints. Nothing goes not unnoticed. Everything is there. And if you want to delete that stuff, if you want to make sure like nobody knows where you live, nobody knows the places you go, like it's so easy to track everything that you've done and figure out everything about yourself, about your identity and stuff that you're doing. So get Incogni, let them deal with this crap. And meanwhile, live your life. Watch Trilogy Media, laugh your ass off, and see justice and prostitution.
As she said in this podcast,
I said prostitution.
Yes, you did. I know. Your stuff goes in one ear out the other.
Prosecution.
She makes the statement that blew my mind in this podcast. If it's free, you're the product. You sign up for free shit, your information is the product. Your information getting shared, getting spread, that's their product. They have it. They'll exploit it and they will profit off of it. Take it back. Take your personal information back with Incogni at incogni.com/trilogy for a 60% off discount for the entire year.
And of course, money back guaranteed. So if you want it, you have 30 days, do it. But again, just you want to support us by supporting Incogni, you're supporting us as well. So do your choice.
Do you
be you?
Anyway, back to Cynthia. Then
the protection that you take.
Conversely, then what would you recommend? Because we get a lot of scam tips in our emails, and a lot of times it's baitable. Like there's like a phone number, an email that we can then maybe try to engage with and see if we can expose it. Sextortion scams specifically are damn near impossible to bait because they target specifically a victim first. Like I can't just inject myself into a sextortion scam. But we get emails from teenagers sometimes, and I don't really honestly know how to respond to them. It happens pretty often where they'll email me and be like, I'm being extorted now. They want this money. I'm ashamed. I don't know who to tell or what to do. What should I tell them? Or what would you tell them?
So I know that it's not a perfect solution, but for sextortion, I really do think like calling local police is really important to have them be involved. And that is something that they can help with. You can also put in and talk to local FBI offices when there is, images, right, of children online. And finally, though, like the universal advice that would be helpful is to tell them like there's no guarantee in you doing anything after that these won't get out anyways, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It happens a lot.
Accepted.
Yes, that's exactly right. Like,
and don't pay.
And don't pay. Yeah. They'll just come back for more. They'll come back for more. It's a shame spiral. Like what you have to do is acknowledge it and it's going to happen. And then you're going to be okay tomorrow. And like, I actually would almost say that same advice when you talk about elder fraud. And I would say this a lot when I was at the FBI is, well, what's the reason for putting out your annual report, right, with IC3? And I was like, so that people know they're not alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, look
That's
at like
actually amazing point.
Could you actually talk about IC3? Because I hear that come up a lot. And I mean, I understand what it is, but like, I oftentimes feel like when we get a scam victim that's asking for advice, like sometimes we can bait the scam, sometimes we can track down the guy that caused it, but we almost never can do anything in regards to fixing it or getting money back or anything. We just tell them to report. But sometimes it feels like a broken record. Like, can you explain what IC3 is? And like, a lot of people feel like reporting it there or anywhere is a waste of time. Is it? Should that people report even if it's a smaller amount to them or in the grand scheme of things?
It depends. I mean, the answer is yes. You should report, but you should know what you're getting. So if it's a kind of personalized amount, that would be a big deal to all of us, but like maybe not to an organization. You may not get the money back, but IC3 does have the ability to claw back funds if they're contacted within 72 hours. And they've done even small sums, right? Because they have relationships with banks to be able to do that. And that's something that's prioritized in terms of like timeliness. So if you're contacting them, contact them early because they might be able to help you get money back.
Interesting. Okay.
Which I think is a really underappreciated part of a lot of this is like they can help with the banks because there's holds. The banks
Wire transfers
exactly.
Stuff,
And so there's number one. Number two is IC3 gets like 3,000 reports a day. But that's not, you can't follow up personally on every one, but all that information gets aggregated. So when something reaches a certain threshold, when you get enough reports or enough money that's been stolen, it's kind of the same tactics, then that enables FBI to really start looking into that more, to open the case, to try to counter that criminal.
And then potentially retroactively could recover funds down the line if
funds are seized, like during an arrest, during a law enforcement, the first step is to go out to the victims and try to provide them restitution. So if you haven't put in a report, like, right, you're not listed as a victim. I don't want to make that as a promise, I guess would be what I'd say, right? But I really think like that idea of like they're aggregated, so it could matter in the end. And if it's a certain amount, you may be able, and it's quick enough, you may be able to get some of that money back, especially like business email compromise, that kind of thing. Those are two really good reasons to put in a report to IC3. It still doesn't mean an FBI agent's going to knock on your door the next day.
But also we have cases, the opposite of the medal. It's like case like Sheila. She lost $1 million, right? And she did FBI report, local police report, and it's been years. Follow up, nobody replied. Millions of dollars, not 5, not 10. You guys don't have enough people. There is no enough freaking
There's not enough people.
No agency will have enough
people.
people.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And how do you guys, you don't select, right? You just go in order. How do you select which cases you can help and which cases you're not? How you can, we cannot reply to incoming every day the bottom of emails.
And we're just a YouTube channel.
Hey, I got scammed. I got scammed. Yeah. Can you help? And you go and it's like refreshing, new one. I cannot even imagine what's happening on your side.
I was like, I get LinkedIn messages like that, right? And it makes me feel sad because I can't help, right? Yeah. Like I was over IC3. Like, I mean, and it means because it depends on
which one to reply, which not.
Well, so a lot of it's going to be like the larger criminal enterprises, right? And does it fit into that larger criminal enterprise type of investigation? If it's just in one state, it really shouldn't be the FBI, right? Like the FBI is supposed to be interstate, international, like law enforcement. And so if it's like more just there's one victim here, one victim there, it's a little harder actually for the FBI to engage in that way. It's like, it really is more appropriate for local police, though, like different level. I know different technical levels, right? And so that's like it's just hard. And it might be a field office has a major other thing happening, right? That day, those few days, that week, and so they can't get to the other things that aren't life and safety. If they have a life and safety issue, you have to prioritize that, right, over money. And so these are all really hard choices, and there's no perfect choices.
I actually, you know what? We already have in mind what we're going to propose. They ask our opinion when we're going to be in Capitol Hill. What would you recommend? What's something that we can learn from you that we can pass
What can
along?
we take?
What can we take?
What laws need to change?
Yes.
To combat this better?
Yes. Let's combine these together.
I don't know why we didn't ask that sooner.
Thank you.
All right. So I have some ideas.
Write it down.
Great.
Being recorded.
And some of them I'm already actually like working on with like some lawmakers on. But just talk on fraud alone, and I'm going to get to ransomware in a second.
Okay.
Perfect.
On fraud alone, what you need is like more resources, more prioritization, and like more acknowledgement that this is a like in the aggregate, right? It's a national security issue. Like it's like taking away a generation of wealth, right? It's a threat. And I think it gets like kind of shuttled around as a, like, what's a crime? Oh, they're also using a computer for a crime.
It's okay.
Right. Well, because like, and like, seriously, like when you're dealing with like really big things every day, it's really hard to parse that. But I think that that's where you need to have specialty, like bureau specialty funding streams going towards that kind of effort. Because that's what's going to like really what you need is for people to have to be able to spend the money, have the people doing that type of work. So like in anything, number one, would focus on that. But number two is like local police really do need to be able to do more in the cyber enabled crime space. Like it was understandable a decade ago, 15 years ago, but like now most crimes are going to be digitized. Like most of them are going to be online in some fashion, some way. So like, does there need to be additional training nationwide? We have a national academy where, police from all over the US, all over the globe come to FBI, Quantico and go through a training. And really like in most cases, if you haven't gone through that, you're probably not going to be a sheriff. Like you're probably not going to be a leader. Like where's the cyber training?
Yes.
Where's the cyber training for the cyber threats that are of today? And I would say that I think is the most important aspect for that work that you're doing. On the ransomware side, I mean, I might be a little like, even stronger on that, some of that stuff. I mean, if you're going to do ransomware attacks against hospitals and people could die, and I have some stories on that, like, you're terrorists.
Yeah.
And we should treat you like terrorists. And, I think there's things we can do in policy world that have them treated like terrorists.
Is there no distinction right now in the law or the punishments for that kind of thing? Like you ransomwaring a hospital versus a lawyer?
So not for the target itself, right? Like if you actually kill somebody when you're in the commission of another felony, that's felonious murder. And actually you can charge additional for that. Proving that's really difficult. Like, okay, so this hospital was down and the nearest hospital was an hour away and we had to send somebody who's having a heart attack there. Did they die because of the ransomware attack? Were they going to die anyways? Like that's where it gets like really wonky.
But if you're targeting a hospital versus a lawyer, you're already doing a worse thing in a way.
Right. And that's my point, right? That's my point is I think that we can just emphasize certain things, direct certain laws or certain efforts within that kind of like terrorism construct. I think there's a way to do this where we can say that. We can say like, if you target hospitals, like you're in trouble. Like we all should be able to live in a world in which ransomware doesn't kill people. Let's make that our first goal.
Yeah.
Right? And then we can go, we can go on other things. I mean, they make these choices. And it's awful. Like there was one time, and this is really like a moment where things changed for me, where there was a medical center. It had conducted a ransomware attack connected against it. And they came to us and they said, people are going to become paralyzed or start dying in 48 hours if we don't get back online. And the thing is, it was specialized therapy. You couldn't just send them anywhere else. It was awful. We got them back online. So I would say actually in that case, we were like, the actors came back and I think they figured out they'd messed up and the ransom dropped to like 40 grand.
From what?
I don't even remember.
Oh my God.
And at that point we were like, I think you have to pay. Like even in our case, like, I mean, like, I think they were like, I think the group was trying to like, the criminal group was trying to get out. Right. We were like, it's so hard. That was so hard.
All of a sudden, or did they just they realize their punishment?
I think they realized the punishment would be worse. Like, right? Like they were in a Russian speaking group. They're in a different country. Like I think it would have like they probably would have had a lot of consequences and realized that. That's what I like to imagine happened in the back end at least. And so, but like think about that case. Like you can crazy. You can target places they're seized up. And then you can't give people their specialized care that they need to live.
You don't really,
it's
you don't
awful.
really connect cyber crime with actual death. But
right. And it's probably all underreported because like when you have a ransomware attack, you're going to paper records and people aren't keeping good records. Yeah. So it's probably a lot of deaths that we don't know about.
Embarrassing. Right? Here's your company, bad PR and shit. People probably don't even want to talk about it.
Exactly.
I keep saying about this over and over again. When you said that local police need training, right? We're talking about that. You need help from state police, from local police. Like it cannot be everything on FBI shoulders. And this is a great example. Houston PD, we're doing our stuff, busing scammers. Got approached by Houston PD who love what we're doing, and they're like, "Hey guys, can we meet in the lobby of hotel while you're here in Houston? We have a couple of questions." So like 3 people arrived, 2 of them Houston PD, and 1 is cybersecurity division that's supposed to be. And we're like, yeah, what is the question? And they're like, listen, so we have a person who's sitting in front of you. He's in charge of all Houston. And can you teach him how to do the Bitcoin wallets and how to chase crypto? And I'm sitting and I cannot process this. And I was like, they're like, yeah, that's all the founding. This is what you see. after grad school, after police academy, whatever. Can you guys, help
One
us?
crypto guy in all of Houston.
One crypto guy
Yeah.
in the whole city of Houston. What is population? 3.5 million, 3.7, whatever. One, and we said, that's why how easy to be criminals.
Well, especially online, because it's hard to pay people the reasonable salary they need if they have those skills. I mean, someone who can trace cryptocurrency across the blockchain. I mean, I know how much we had to pay people. It's a lot, right? And we didn't have enough, right? And so, we were constantly, we were going getting contractors, right? Bringing people in to help us because the actual federal salaries in and of themselves, they just weren't enough to bring in these folks. And so my heart goes out actually to the people you're talking to, because they want more people with those skills. I bet they're training people and then they're leaving for the private sector to have more money. So it's hard for them too. I don't want to put it all on them. They just haven't cared.
Yeah.
It's hard to actually recruit.
Why can't the agencies hire the private sector more instead of?
Well, they don't have the money, right? I
guess it'd be.
Well, that's why we need to bring this up to our conversation. Said guys, we need funding, we need help, we need private sectors, we need this and this. It's what is it? 2.9. 3 million people, and you have one person who said, I only know how to trace one wallet. But when we see it, it goes through 169 wallets before it's going to end on somewhere.
It's really difficult. And I think what you really have to do is do more training for people who are on the job, because there's a certain personality of people who go into law enforcement, and you want to do the investigation, you want to do the deep dive, you have that drive towards making the community better, towards being able to help people.
Yeah. Has to be a passion.
It does. You
don't go to make money.
Right.
You're going to make money.
Right. And so we need to do more training of people when they get into those positions. Okay, great. You want to help people? Let's give you a cyber aptitude test. Let's see if you can also help people with this thing too. And I think that's the answer, more so than that recruitment aspect. You can get people typically bookend of their careers early, recruiting people right out of college was much easier for me because you could talk to people and say there's nothing wrong with making a difference in your 20s and money in your 30s. And you can never take away those 5-10 years that you worked for the FBI, that you gave back, that you get to all these cool operations, and some of them will stay and some of them won't. And that's okay if you're realistic, but I don't think that structure is necessarily there. Throughout law enforcement, you're normally lifers, right? You're normally this. And so you have to change that mindset to get those folks in. But then you just need to train people who have the passion for law enforcement on some of these technical issues.
Do you believe, from your perspective, and this is something that we just came across, one sheriff changed the whole course about what's happening right now nationwide, and his name is John Montgomery, Arkansas Mountain Home, right?
Baxter County, yeah.
Baxter County. He's been in power 20, how many years? 24, 23, something like that. He's a great example that you can be for so long in such a higher position and you're constantly improving, learning, educating.
Yes.
Do you believe if you have a power, whatever, as a president, as an FBI, well, president has only 2 terms he can do, right? So, but when you, especially sheriff, local sheriff that can make changes, the longer you stay in power, the more you're becoming untouchable, the more you're becoming stale, the more you're becoming, you see?
So I see what you're saying, but I think it's just the difference between good leaders and bad leaders. I wouldn't say it's
within. Why we don't have a lot of good freaking leaders? What's happening?
I'm definitely not commenting on which sheriffs are good leaders and bad leaders. I don't think I know that anyways, right? And I think there's a lot of great leaders out there who just don't know what to do or don't have the example. But I'm happy to give everyone an example, which is Director Ray from the FBI. Back in, when we were having cyber conversations in 2019, 2020 with him, there was a lot of really basic things we'd have to explain. That just wasn't his background. By the time he left in 2024, we could have really complex conversations with him. I would show him 2 different charts. And I'd say, do you want, when we were starting to figure out how to track AI use by adversaries and how they're integrating this, I said, do you want the simple one or do you want this really detailed one? He's like, I want the detailed one. I want to learn it. I want to know. And so it's that curiosity that comes with good leadership. And there's examples out there that the sheriff you're talking about, right? Director Ray, there's examples out there of I don't know something, but it's important and it's becoming more important to the people I want to protect.
it's like a human factor, like it's like one can go for 20 years and accomplish absolutely fucking nothing. And another one will take first 4 years. And like, I have no idea about cybercrimes. I have no idea about elderly scam, but I want to learn. If I have only this term to serve my state, my city, I'm going to do whatever it takes. But sometimes you meet and it's like, it's just walking cucumber.
That triggered a memory in my head because when we very first started making anti-scam videos, like in 2016, 17, some of the very first imposter scammers were impersonating Christopher Wray. Do you remember that? One of our earliest videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I mean, they were like Nigerian, 2017-ish. Yeah. So you just said Ray. I was like, oh my God, that reminds me of a whole era of our content because we're getting a lot of like FBI imposter scams that we were.
Oh my goodness!
Going.
Do you
after
still in touch with him?
Yeah. I've seen him. I'm in touch with a lot of folks, and I'm in touch with the folks in the new administration too. Like I'm in touch with anybody who wants to actually do something right about like cybercrime, cyber threats.
Do you have these weird vibe? And you mentioned about this when you serve in your position under one administration, and then new administration came. How do they treat you? Do they treat you like equally? Or is because you serve Democrats, but now it's Republican Party, they're like all of a sudden you're like, we want new FBI people backing us up.
No, that wasn't my experience at all, right? I mean, I think that the FBI is more or less, I've been seen through the years, is nonpartisan. But nonpartisan, I mean, like everyone hates us, right? And like, not everyone, but like,
why everybody thinks that FBI dicks, arrogant dicks, and he was like, because we are. But he said, you cannot get in this position if you don't have confidence.
That's right.
If you don't have skills.
That's right.
I'm not a freaking clueless cucumber working after somebody. He was like, I know what I'm worth. And people hate us for that because we're so smart.
They also FBI is in charge of actually investigating politicians. So, right, and once you see all those investigations, like really hard to be political, like one side or the other, because you're like, oh, there's good people and bad people, right? Like that's in my head. It's always like there's good people and bad people, right? Like there's people who are taking bribes or using their positions of power to not help people, right? Or there's people who really want to help people, really want to do good. That's the people I want to partner with. That's what I want to do. And it's like this weird, it's weird to get in some of these circles and hear like, well, they don't want to personalize it too. Like, well, I know you, Cynthia. So like, we trust you, the FBI. And I'm like, I am the FBI.
Yeah.
I am the FBI. Like I sit there and my analysts have missed dinner with their family 3 nights in a row to get this cybersecurity advisory out to make sure that like networks are safe. Like that's the FBI I know.
Yeah.
The ones where like people are like there 12 hours a day trying to protect people. And it doesn't matter who's in power. It really matters exactly like what they can do to help that, like your friends, your family, your community. Every day you walk in, you get to help those people. It's a pretty awesome career to be able to do that too. And an awesome feeling.
If you love me, you love them. If you hate me, you know they're going to hate them. It's like the face.
Can you recall like maybe the most devastating or unique ransomware case that you've ever witnessed or tried to intervene in, or just something like you were saying about the one with the hospital with the special therapy? Is there anything else like that you can think of that's like the most devastating or just unique or just something that just kind of changed you?
So
heartless?
Well, actually, no. I'm gonna go to a positive note.
Okay.
Is as we were starting to get a handle on what's going on in ransomware and you build out some of these operations, the FBI with partners in Europe, international like kind of law enforcement, conducted an operation against a ransomware group called Hive. It was one of the bigger ones at the time, like 2021, 2022.
Iran?
Hive. No, so it's just one of the bigger ones at the time.
Bigger ones.
Yeah, at the time. No, it was a Russian-speaking group.
Damn it.
So, like, we're targeting them. They'd stolen over 100 million in ransoms, like targeted just, countless people across the globe. We get onto their infrastructure, like we sneak on, like you're in an undercover, situation in person, like it's kind of the same, but online. And we start seeing like, well, they have all their decryptors, they're all their keys, right? To unlocking victim networks just here. So we start taking them, we start handing them out to victims. Start handing them out. We're like, how long do you think we're going to be on there? Like 2 weeks, right? Till they figured it out.
Yeah.
We're there 7 months. 7 months.
You know why? I can tell you why. They didn't notice anything that, Americans were inside. Because for 7 months, they were drunk.
Were you there?
You know what though? You have to be pretty drunk to go from over $100 million in earnings to 10.
Because you were able to give current victims the decryptors.
Yeah, and they could not figure it out. Couldn't figure it out. Why? Why are we not making money? Why is this not working? Because we're giving the decryptors out to all these victims. And so that's what I mean by like unique, because like that was the moment where I was like, oh, we can do something.
That's awesome.
We can do something about this.
When
and like
that's
cool.
What happened when they noticed?
We shut down all the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shut it all down. Yeah.
Did anybody get arrested?
There were, as some of these go, like, I don't believe there was any arrests in those cases, but there always ends up being these kind of background things, right? Like there's either rewards that come out of State Department. I can't remember that case, if they're exactly that, or there's charges. Sometimes there's silent charges because, you want to be able to catch people if they're traveling, or like you don't want it to be as public out there.
Put in the system,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
when they travel, if you cannot do anything, at least you like talk to Interpol. In Interpol, like, all right, if they're gonna travel somewhere out of whatever post-Soviet Union republics, they can be in the system.
I mean, no one wants to never vacation outside of Russia, right?
No, I'm not saying that.
And we said the same thing. We're like no one's like hacking in Iran because they're like, I can't wait to stay here forever.
That's funny.
I mean, that's it. You said it.
I mean, right? So like, it's like restricting their travel, taking away their money. Like these are actual like things that like can impact behavior over time.
A lot of oligarchs, especially with this Russian-Ukrainian war, they always like propaganda, like Russia, let's go, fucking Russians, we're the best nation in the world. All of these bastards, they have yachts, boats, yachts, helicopters, France, Italy, like everywhere. And they will travel. They will have like dual citizenship, and they will get caught. And then all of a sudden, like Abramovich, $360 million yacht got seized. It's like, it's just amazing how it, through travel, you can cut a lot of bad guys.
I think people think like, oh, like FBI doesn't really arrest a lot of these people. But like, I always tell people, like, you'd be surprised at how many people are behind jail like bars because of the FBI's efforts. I mean, really, at least probably over 300 every year get arrested. But a lot of times it's a case from 2 years ago or something else. And so it doesn't make the news. Yeah. So people just don't like really understand that there really are, there are consequences. Like people are.
I just want to say what happened to us last year, right?
Yeah.
It took us 5 years.
Well, it took them 5 years to get the indictment through, and we forgot about it. But we
testified in 2023.
They put the press release out, and our name is at the top of it, and we're like, oh yeah, we
did this in 2020.
We forgot about this.
You're like, that's right.
And we see in Nigeria hiding from locals.
All of a sudden, TMZ is calling us.
TMZ is calling like,
what about this big case you were on? Like, oh, the one who testified in 4 years ago. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, let's talk about it.
I mean, justice takes a long time, but it has a long memory.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very well said.
As a general, I guess, just human to human question, I asked Eric the same thing. Do you
who are you human?
I try to be.
Okay.
From time to time. Do you just from your 20 years working for one of the most protected, secretive entities in the world, do you, and I'm not asking for details because I know you can't say them, but do you know things that haunt you that you have to take to your grave?
I love this question.
Because it fascinates me.
It is fascinating.
Do you know things that haunt you that you have to take to your grave, and you will wear that weight for the rest of your life?
Absolutely. Right? And there's a reason why.
Deal with that?
I mean, there's a reason why there are like agency psychologists and psychiatrists there, right?
Can you
to like
tell
help
a psychiatrist
us,
that, or a therapist that?
They're cleared. Right.
If
so that like they're cleared and like they're in like they have programs to help people with that because
it has to be in. You cannot just call BetterHelp and be like,
right. Yeah. Like tell them like, oh, I read this report today. No, like, right. No,
we're going to get killed.
But that's a big issue. Right. And like, even like some of the meditation apps that I know now are like the ways that like you can help yourself. The reason I know it is because guys on the hostage like rescue team were telling me about them. And so like, figuring out how to actually be able to get through this stuff and to get through it, not be incredibly affected by it, but also not get desensitized to it, because that's the flip side of it, right? Is not get too desensitized by everything you see that's awful. It takes work. You don't just like, you're not just like born okay doing that. Like no one's born with the gene where you say, I can totally look at child sexual abuse material all day long and not be affected. I mean, it's rough, right? Some of these reports you see, these like information you get in about a terrorist attack or like how things are impacting, like it is so hard. And people find their way to work through it, right? And I'm really proud of everybody for that, but it's not easy.
But
and
also we have cases, but also we have cases with FBI agents that will be on drugs, that will be on alcohol, that will be on whatever. How do you personally handle this? Like you as a human, you as a female, being in the office that are full of dominant males who's trying to tell their dominance through screaming and yelling and tell them how big
or
balls.
even just the secrets of the world or the things
how do you handle these
the things that you know that would blow our minds that you can never repeat. Like what maybe I'm just not, I know that I'm not built for it. I couldn't do it. I can't hold on to like secrets like that in the sense that I can't carry that weight and not like express it to somebody. You know?
But like, it doesn't happen all at once, right? Like it's things that like you get used to over time. There's a reason why there's things that are called need to know, right? Like I don't know everything that happened at the FBI all the time. Like that's not appropriate, right? And it would be awful for everyone's like, mental state too. And so like you really just have to like know yourself enough to know when you need help. And I'm not ashamed to say, right, there's like 5 or 6 times in my career where I had to call and say like, I need to talk to somebody, right? I need some help just kind of getting through this. Like I'm having a hard time not to process it, to not be constantly thinking about it, right?
And
like
not
something.
Turn to narcotics. And
well, yeah, I'm good there. You know, I think, but it's hard, right? And you know, that's why people have to get reinvestigated and they're constantly kind of evaluating that just to make sure you're okay. And if you work some of the really hard stuff, there's normally time limits that you can work the really hard stuff before it's like, nope, forcible, vacation from this and moving back on. Because like we also like have to protect each other.
Well, it's like
and we have to watch out, right?
Drive for so many hours.
That's right. Yeah. Like, and I've had conversations with employees who I've said like, listen, like, I'm really worried for you. I'm going to call, like, let's get on the phone together to the bureau psychologist, right? And let's talk with them, like, make sure we set up an appointment for you. Like, I don't, you said some things, it makes me nervous. Like, I really care about you, right? And that's when you have to come at this with empathy or else, like, you can't make it through.
How you separate this life when you can go and be on a case with all these animals who like abusing kids and you see these and you deal with these or like terrorist or like something dirty, something bad and dark. And then you come home, you leave it behind the door and you give a kiss to your daughter and you listen about how was her day in the school. How do you manage those 2 lives?
So, I mean, you want to spend time with your kids, right? And you try to divide it as much as you can. And I think they're like, a lot of the time I was able to be successful at it. One of the reasons after 20 years, I was like, hey, I need to do something different. I need to go to the private sector is like, it took a while. Like you come home from work and you can't just switch.
Decompress.
Right?
Of course. Yeah.
And so then if you're like there late, like you're just not, there could be evenings where you're just not even there mentally, even though you're physically there. And like, that's understandable, right? But at some point you have to make that switch and we're all human, right? And it's hard.
What would you recommend, especially like maybe even just like a personal suggestion from me? Because like I like to think that people are good. And I think one of my flaws is I'm too trusting of people. But having now spent almost 10 years, no, of course not. Having spent almost 10 years now where our sole mission is looking for shitty human beings, whether it's people abusing the elderly, abusing children, and we love the justice element. We love the idea of holding people accountable that are doing shitty things, regardless if they get arrested or not. Our power is not in that. Our power is in awareness. But we spend so much of our time looking for shitty people. Sometimes it makes me lose a little bit of faith
in humanity,
in people in general. Like I see myself over the last 10 years slightly swaying towards maybe people aren't inherently good. There's a lot of shitty human beings.
Well, that's why you have dogs.
Well, exactly.
Oh, the puppies.
That's why we have dogs, right?
Yes.
And I have a great, small, but amazingly strong circle of people in my life that keep me grounded. But I guess, how do you, someone on your level, 100 times what I'm even experiencing, seeing the worst of the worst of the worst in humans for so long.
Meeting new people.
Well, how do you just not lose faith in humans in general? Like,
so I think you can be skeptical without assuming the worst. And by that, I mean, like I always used to tell all of my, folks who worked with me, like, you have to assume noble intent. Like, you have to assume good intent when you meet people, or else like every interaction you have is going to be negative.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're going to assume the worst of you. It spirals down. Like, that's just not the world in which you want to live. It doesn't mean you're naive either, though, right? You should always assume good intent at first. But when they prove you wrong, you believe them. And that's kind of how I operate, right? Is I like people. I like to believe people are good. I think there's a lot of great people out there too, right? And do I want to live my life not trusting everybody I come across? No, I don't. So I assume good intent, but I also, probably have a quicker cutoff point.
Yeah.
Like when it's proven wrong.
You believe them the first time when they show you who they really are.
You have no problem meeting people outside of your circle, right? Like, especially when you go, like, whatever, school or whether it's college, or you're just meeting moms, just soccer moms watch something. So you accept everybody, but you always have like your fingers on your pulse, right? To making sure, like, all right, if that person behave differently, like you just said, just cut it off, moving on, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, right? Like, and maybe I'm wrong sometimes too, right? But that's how I parse it, right? That's how I can live my life, because I don't want to think everyone's bad, and they aren't. So, like, you just have to, go no drama and move forward. It's hard, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So,
is it hard to get new friends? Like, the older you get, it's number one, but also especially from your background, and after you already left the agency, and now you have new circle of civilians coming in your life. How do you handle that?
So it's been weird to leave where I was for 20 years. And even like a lot of my leadership team there, like, they'd come in as new employees, right? And I'd mentored them up, and I'd been with all of them, and I had this like great sounding board. So you have a second family.
Right.
And when you leave the FBI, you leave your family. And then you come over to a new company, and I love my new company. I think I've said my company name, right? Like Halcyon, which is like an anti-ransomware. I was going to say, good. Yeah, please put all the links up. It's great, right?
Work, I want to make sure
but like, you come over and you're like, I don't know anybody, and no one knows me, and I have to like prove myself all over again to everybody, and like to not have those kind of few trusted people, and like, how do I develop that? And especially in this weird world of almost all remote work too, where I'd come from an almost all in person. Life. It wasn't easy, but what I would say is I've been really surprised at how quickly I was able to kind of develop those other relationships. There's a lot of collaboration in like the cyber sector, which is like fun. I love the industry. And that's what's really fun is I because of my work at FBI, I'd had contacts in industry, and I've gotten to deepen those. And what's been really great is, because you're government, you have to maintain a certain distance, right, with industry and things. But there's some, especially women in tech leadership groups, that I had to have that little bit of distance before, and I don't have to have any. And I'm like, this is amazing. I get to be so close to these like amazing, like badass women, and I get to be deeper there. And so you find those other pockets, and that's what I like about our industry, right? I love being able to like have that collaboration. You go to the conferences, people we're all like similarly built. Like, we want to stop bad things from happening.
So many things in common.
What are some of your go-to tips for general online safety? Obviously some of the more obvious ones, don't use the same password over and over again. Maybe what are some of the habits that you've embraced for yourself personally that you always suggest to people that maybe are less known or less practiced than they should be?
So password managers are really helpful, right? Whether it's like,
on that.
I have a high opinion of them, right? Like, whether it's your Apple one, all these other ones out there, doesn't really matter. But
you're not a big fan of.
Well, not that I'm not a big fan. It makes me nervous to put all of my things into one entity,
one trustful.
And then you see something like LastPass got hacked the shit out of it the other like last year or the year before.
Yeah.
So like, how do you know who to trust, and should you trust all of it to one place?
So, I mean, I think the chance of you remembering a bunch of different passwords is very low. And you have to figure out, things have to have really good encryption. Even if they're like, are they stored in the cloud, right? Are they stored away from your devices? Or are they more like on device password managers? But I think password managers for like an everyday person, far better than the alternative of, you're going to reuse passwords. I mean, the only alternative is just pretend you don't have passwords and just forget it every time, right? Reset it every time. And it's like, that to me is like the two different ones. Because like the reused passwords, these passwords, usernames, passwords, once they're stolen once, they're sold on the dark web over and over and over again. And people try it again. So like, you have to have the different passwords, and really mentally the only way to do that, I think, is through the password managers. You also multi-factor authentication. And when I say that, I mean, it's not ideal, but like the text messages you might get that have your code, right? Or to your email, that's hackable. But for every day going on your normal life, like it's probably fine. The authenticator apps, like Microsoft has that authenticator app. Like those are much better. Okay. Those are much more secure of that kind of multi, like
fully
factor.
Understand what those are. And like, as I have the Microsoft one and then I have the Google one, I never know which one to use. For some reason, it only works. It only like Instagram requires me to do it. But then like, I'm just getting a code in another app. Like I don't really understand it. Like I don't.
It's because it changes. Yeah. Like it's because it changes. And like so, say somebody has compromised your email, and you do a 2-factor, like, and you do a reset, and you get your code to your email. Well, like they've already compromised your email.
Yeah.
So you can get it.
Yeah. But you can do it on your phone, so it's going to go straight to your text message.
Unless your phone.
Yeah. So the phone, that's what I said, text message and email, kind of similarly less like secure than the authenticator app. Yeah. Because they can do that kind of in the middle, right?
If they have your phone, couldn't they effectively get the same result by seeing your authenticator app in real time?
The way like mobile malware works and things like that, like what's more likely is they've just done something where they're rerouting like traffic from your text messages to themselves.
Gotcha.
It's not necessarily like they fully compromised your phone. That takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of work. Yeah. And a lot of specialization. They're probably not doing it. Like, right, to most folks. And so to me, like getting a handle on all of that, like that password, that like secondary authentication, in which if you want to use the text and email, I have plenty of text and email ones I use, by the way. It's not like I only use authenticator apps.
Well, it's still so new. Like the general layman doesn't even, like my parents probably wouldn't even know what that is.
Exactly. So I was going to say like unique passwords is the way to go, right? Yeah. Like
have you ever used an authenticator? Do you even know what that is? You don't use it. Yeah. That's just an example.
It's a random code generator, right? Instead of like getting something pushed to you, right? Yeah. So that's great if you want to use that, but really just the unique passwords. Like, and then updating your device. How many people just like are like, oh, I had an iPhone update like
he was
a
just
week
complaining
ago?
about it the other day.
Oh, don't get me started. Now I'm going to be screaming. It's supposed to be.
He won't shut up about it.
Yes, because it's a fucking scam.
No, it's not.
It's not
It is
a scam.
And
It's not a scam.
No. I'm going to explain it to you. So there are two things that goes exactly with expensive cars, like Range Rover, right? When they're going to put that manufacturer, there is a theory that manufacturers set up something when it's hit 60,000 miles on Range Rover, it's going to start falling apart.
It's called planned obsolescence.
And on iPhones, ask right now 20 people, and 20 people going to say exactly the same. Every single fucking time you upgrade your phone,
but there's deeper reasons why you should, right?
Slower. It's gonna get. They want you to buy a new one. The whole reason I bought new one right now
was
because
busted.
it stopped freaking working.
Was it?
I'm freaking Bill Blore right now. Pisses me off.
Wasn't Apple busted for that a number of years back? Or actually,
I thought it was battery life only though, like or something like that. Like right? Yeah, it was the battery life. Yeah.
So my battery cannot last a half a day.
So then correct him. Should he not have updated?
You should absolutely update. They're just fixing vulnerabilities. I know that they're also doing system updates. Some of it's not ideal, but like it also fixes the bugs in the code that allow people to hack you. So like, you have to do it.
I'll be protected online.
Oh my gosh!
You better freaking choose. You cannot have both.
Every day.
Yeah. No, you have to. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. And listen, I sympathize with you, and you're right, and you still have to update. Like. So
I haven't updated yet.
I was in Brazil and I was like, why I cannot connect to my roaming? And I called, I was like, guys, I fucking paid for these. Why? Like I'm paying $15 a day. What's happening? And they said, when was the last time you updated? Update your iOS. And I was like, I don't know. They're like, go update it. And all of a sudden I have every single network access and I can.
So you got to update. And then I'm going to add one more thing into this, which is, there's a term in cyber called zero trust. I'm not going to it's pretty explanatory, right? Zero trust. But I feel like we have to zero trust our brains, like in the age of AI. And by that, I mean, AI right now being used by adversaries, I don't know, like somewhat, mostly it's being used by people who don't know how to do anything to become like 5%, bad instead of the people who are already at 80%, like doing more things. But the one thing it's really good at is making lies believable. So it's really good at convincing phishing emails and voice phishing. Yes. It's really good at deep fakes. So a story on that think about your CEO. They call you on WhatsApp, and they call you on WhatsApp all the time, and they're at the vacation house you see them at, and they say, "Hey, I'm on a call right now. I need you to get on. Here's the link to the call." Like, I would have clicked on that. That's a real story of financial fraud.
Wow.
So, like, we're going to see an explosion, really, I think, of this like deep fake, social engineering, deep fake lying, right? To manipulate people, whether that's for fraud or for ransomware, cybercrime, et cetera.
In that story, what was the link was malware? It wasn't a meeting link, obviously.
Yeah, the link somehow it enabled them to steal money from the company in that actual instance. Wow. But you can see how it could be malware, like just as easily, right? And there's been others where the deepfakes they just call the CF. It's like the CEO calling the chief financial officer, telling them to wire money somewhere.
Mm. But correct me if I'm wrong, you've been dealing with AI technologies way prior before everybody get access and start talking about AIs, right? It's been like over 5-7 years. How long you been?
Well, so like, I mean, I just have an interest in it, right? And so like we've been talking about a long time, and what we used to call AI is more just like data analysis, machine learning, and now like kind of fast forwarding to we're in the private sector. But at the FBI, I was driving the initiatives of like, how do you actually track how adversaries are integrating AI into their cyber operations? And that's because you'd sit around a table and people who aren't like savvy on technology, they would see a report and it would say, you know, bad country number one, they say they're going to use AI in their next operation to do X, Y, and Z. And if you don't know what that means, people are freaking out, right? Like, oh my gosh, they're going to use AI. It's going to be so much worse. And I look at that and I'm like, that's A, not AI. And B, it's not going to make them better, right? Like I just think I can like first glance, like, I mean, gosh, if everyone was hacking the phones of everyone at the FBI who talked about using AI, would they be right? Like would they get the right picture? They wouldn't, right? And that's just normal in any organization. So like we set out to really track like, A, are they using it in this way? And is it real AI? And does it make them better? And like doing that in a really detailed way. And that's like, I've continued that work now, like into the private sector, like thinking about how ransomware actors are integrating AI into like everything they do, because like getting it right's really important, because we can't just be like, oh, they're going to use it all and it's going to be all awful. Because like it's the nuanced, detailed stuff that actually helps us counter what's going on. Like if you ask me what we're going to see in the next year from this, like I'd say two predominant things, which is a lot of deepfakes everywhere, like lies, more believable, like initial, like getting on, right? More believable. But then it's going to be a lot of people who don't know what they're doing, trying to use AI. So they'd be at 0% success today, and tomorrow they might be at 5% success because they used AI. That's not a great rate for most savvy criminals, but it's a great rate for them. And that means a lot more targeting, like a lot more picking, like that volume going up. So it's going to be like amateur hour targeting for the next year.
Actually, something about meta glasses. Something happened to us that never happened before. 2 weeks ago, cash mules show up at the house, you know, like it was our sting house operation. And they were wearing meta glasses, right? Glasses.
Recording the interaction.
Recording, right? Everything. And when I start chasing these cash mule, right, he immediately throw fake cash and glasses. And I was like, why he's throwing glasses? So Ashton picked up the glasses and he was like, oh, this son of a gun, he been recording everything. My question for you is, since if we will give you those glasses on a spot, would you be able to access somehow or find a way to get the memory and footage from that meta glasses that link to...
Because there's no internal storage. It's linked to a meta AI account, which if I link it to my account, because we have the glasses, if I linked it to my account, it does a factory reset. So and they probably already wiped it remotely anyway. But
how fast?
There's probably footage on there of real victims giving their cash. And it probably help some people, but we have no way of accessing the footage.
Gosh, I mean... I would even, then when I was in like the bureau, like I would have had to say, like, I'd give that to a very capable, like digital forensics expert right away, right? That there may be a way in some of the linking. I mean, people don't set up their accounts right. Sometimes people don't delete things. It's going to like probably depend on some mistake on there. And there's a lot of mistakes though. So there's likely certain ways, but I don't think I could walk through like today, this is how you do it.
Do you have any suggestion for the general layman for knowing when you're picking certain apps to trust, right? So like we talked about password managers, like, you know, I know that LastPass got really badly hacked. I don't know if they're still trustworthy or not. I don't really know anything about them. But like when we had our FBI contact that we were working with for this stuff, like when we talked to him, he would not text us. He would not WhatsApp us. It was only Signal. but Signal is encrypted and WhatsApp says they're encrypted too. So like you go to two different password managers, they both say they're encrypted. Like in general, how does a person know what's real encrypted, what's bullshit encrypted, and what to trust, what not to trust?
And why FBI trusting Signal more than
and why
WhatsApp?
would he not use WhatsApp?
I can answer that because I totally am like a Signal lover too, right? Which is WhatsApp still does track metadata and Signal doesn't track the metadata like associated with some of that. Like, so they're not like everything's encrypted like in the message content, but there is some more information that you can like Facebook, keeps track of like through the use of WhatsApp. It's not necessarily they're not going to come out with like what you guys talked about, right? But like in law enforcement, you're really careful, right? You're going to go with the one that collects the least amount of information.
Sure,
I see.
So that's why that, right?
Yeah.
Does the normal person like know to like dive into that? Like, no. So what I'd really advise, and I'm guilty of like that app looks fun, like that game looks fun, I want to do that too, right? Is just always go through the app store. I mean, that's the best advice. Always go through the app store. Don't go through a website itself, because that's where you can have malicious apps. Like the app store does at least have some type of testing that goes on right behind, behind the scenes. And I'm saying app store because I have an iPhone, but like Google Play, same thing, right? Go through those normal stores. They're vetted, like, and tested for those kind of general security. I look at where the app was developed, like where the parent corporation is. If I'm going to decide to download it, like my kids know now, like they're like, oh, I wanted this, but I saw it was developed here, so I couldn't have it. I was like, you're right, and how much data, like it says it in there, like how much data it collects on you, right? That's a decision you get to make.
Well, then that poses a question about TikTok.
We don't have TikTok in my house.
Okay.
So that's all I got to say.
I told you, hate it from the beginning. I told you from the beginning. I hate that app. I'm freaking don't you? My comrades inside collecting information. Actually, on something different. Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I wanted to say one more thing on like the apps though, which is like when you're looking at what you're going to like download and what you're going to have like on these apps, like stores, like what you really have to evaluate is exactly like what you're going to be using it for and whether it's going to get access to all your data. And by that, I mean, there's a lot of VPNs out there that are just like masks for cybercrime. They're like, there's a guy we took down and a, kind of group we took down, and they had this popular free VPN and you download it to your phone. And what they were doing is then selling your access to your phone in the back end.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not
911S5. You can look it up.
Can you name the VPN?
Oh, so 911S5, was that the group or was that the VPN? That's the operation, right? And that was the group. Okay. If you look that up, and that an arrest actually happened in that case, like for the person.
Is it still a VPN
I'm glad it's not our sponsor.
Well, no. Is it still a VPN you can use?
I don't believe so. It was like, it's taken down. But think about that, right?
That's insane.
So that's when I just wanted to make that last like comment on apps is you hear all these like free VPNs and like, oh, I'm going to use a VPN and it's going to like protect my data. But like, if it is not a known, trusted, and like, that is not the only one out there is all I'd say,
Do you trust anybody?
I actually use, I use a variety of them. I like to use the VPN that's like through my router at home, which I have there's a lot of different types. I use an Eero at home, like the Amazon kind of ones. A lot of people use like firewalls at home. And there's a lot of other good ones out there, but look, if it's like free and then you're the product.
Any free VPNs. It's like, it's always, we do NordVPN, Surfshark, stuff.
Yeah, I've used Nord before. Yeah, and stuff like that. Yeah, and so it's like, it's like good ones change, right? Like how I like them change. That's what I say. I was like, I don't know if I'd recommend something and it would be good like 2 months from now. But really, like if it's free, you're the product. Whether they're stealing your data or they're doing something worse, it's free. You're the product.
You're the product. That's really interesting. That kind of goes for everything.
For everything.
Yeah.
Hey, free job. Like, hey, free work. No. Free label. No. That's why, like, since the beginning, what is it called? People will overuse you, especially here in Los Angeles, in California. When you in this industry, it's like, who want to be an actor? Oh, 1 million actors. Who want to be an actor? Who want to be a writer? Free shit, nothing. We believe that every work has to be paid. If we cannot, even when we were broke, content creators or filmmakers, like, I will pay for your dinner, I will pay for your gas, I will find mine, just to like respect your job.
That phrase is blowing my. I'm sorry, I didn't listen to anything you just said. That phrase is blowing my mind.
I usually do, like, when you talk.
If it's free, you're the product. That is so fucking true.
It is.
In everything.
It is.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a question for you, which is absolutely, while he's blowing up in his head right now.
He needs a moment. It's okay.
All right, let him chill
down.
So, all right. We have CIA, we have FBI, we have so many different secret services and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's always like, I'm elite, I'm the best. There is always competition, right? So question for you. Things that happened at Eric O'Neill, on that case with
Robert Hansen.
Yeah. FBI had they had their head so long up in their asses for 20 years, looking and blaming other departments that they did not even look what's happening in their own home. That leads me to a question. You've been 20 years in this business, and if you see a bad apple, how fast you can spot it, and have you done something like that when you're like, you know what? I'm going to report it, and I'm going to make sure that this person will be not part of the family because he got bribed by Russians, by bastards, or like something is dirty behind that person.
So, I think
there's
a few things here. One is like, Robert Hansen was a dirtbag in his normal life. It's not like he was like an upstanding, everybody loved him. Like the stories I've heard, and like I think sat in like some of the same spaces he'd been in, like years
Eric
before.
And like piece of shit.
I remember like I was working with some people who'd worked directly with him, and they'd said things like, people leaving to go get their kids because they were sick, and then him dragging them back into the office, like, pulling him by the arm and stuff. And like these are the stories I heard about him, years later after his arrest. And like, you didn't see there was something wrong with that? Like,
right.
He sounds like a total awful human being.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, why was this a surprise that he was awful just in all things? I didn't see anything that awful, like when I was at the FBI. And I do think there was a change in, like, when I came on, there was still some more what I would call like overt, like things that were very genderized is a nicer way to put it, right? But like harassment kind of stuff, right? I remember when I was there that our first 2 years, some of the women I worked with, they wanted to volunteer to go to Iraq. Like a lot of people were going and like helping and supporting, and their applications got denied because like the manager a few levels up was like, well, I wouldn't let my daughters go. I was like, you can't do that. You can't do that. Right. And like, I had a conversation with them at the time, and it's something I like held firm to and did throughout the rest of my career, because they'd be worried like, hey, but I don't want to get a reputation as somebody like who complains, right? Or like who calls it out. And I was like, well, like you have choices. Your reputation is somebody who can be walked over, like, or is a reputation who's someone who calls it out. And I was like, I'd rather people not pull it on me in the first place. So what had happened to me, I was just really like, to my earlier conversation, I was really direct, and how much grace I gave somebody is how much grace I thought they deserved. And a lot of times it was a lot of grace. I didn't think they understood. And there's some times where I was like, I saw that you did this to me, and I've seen you do it to other people. And I just wanted to let you know it's the only conversation I'll have with you. I'll be going to HR the next time. Like, take that for what you want, right? Like, it's just like very direct, very clear, move on. In the FBI, that works really well. I get in other places that wouldn't, but like in a place that values direct communication, I had to like figure out how to navigate it and make it work.
What would be the dress code for female when you're working in the FBI? Can you have a shorter skirt, or you have to have everything only pants? And like when you becoming and working for this agency, and it's only few females on this field, you not only have to represent the rest of population of females, right? And exactly what you just said, stand for your grounds and just cut those behaviors. Yeah. But also, how do you carry yourself, like, by the way you dress? How
or
do
is
you
that even a
dress?
factor? I don't,
Like, listen, the FBI is a pretty conservative place, like in terms of how people dress. Everyone wears a lot of suits. You dress up every day.
Makeup,
and
lipstick.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, it's hard, like no one could control me when I was at the FBI, and no one can control me now, right? Like, I dressed appropriate, right? And that's what I always told all my employees, like, I expect you to dress professionally, right? So there's certain levels of that, right? Like don't dress in distracting ways. And that means like, probably not like ripped pants either, right? Not ripped pants, not like you're going out on a Saturday night, right? Like, and it's like basically like,
and you're going to the
yeah. Like you're not going to the gym, you're not going to a nightclub, right? And like pretty much everything in between was fine, right? And because I don't care how people show up to dress. And it was nice because in cyber you were at an offsite, so like I got to give my people a lot more leeway, which was really nice too.
So is it more laid back?
Yeah, definitely more laid back. Like not a lot of suits. Like I made people I was like, just keep a tie in your drawer, like if you have the meeting or whatever. But like, man, it is really nice. I tell everyone now, like I've earned my jeans.
Yes.
That's what I'm wearing.
What was the onboarding process like? Because Eric had he was talking about like the lie detector process of like, what is it? How deep metaphorically do they go into your past, into who you are? Like how invasive is that to them to trust you, especially in a leadership role?
Well, so I mean, you had a poly before you like ever went into the bureau, and then you should have one every 5 years if you want to maintain, 5-ish years to maintain your clearance. That's just a requirement, like across the government.
Even get past something like that? He's such a shit human being at face value.
You know what? I'd have to go back and look and see if some of these, like some of the polygraph restrictions, or requirements have come because of people like him and other spies around that time. I think that's true. I just can't quite remember. So some people, like, if you don't have a conscience, I guess you can pass it just fine because you don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, it's not fun. You always think you don't pass.
Every 5 years, like, what are they looking for?
Well, like, are you a terrorist? Are you a spy? Are you completely negligent in your responsibilities, right, to secure things?
Yeah,
I mean, it's basically what they're looking for.
The major question.
Yeah. And they're not looking for, like, did you lie to your parents last week about XYZ? But they are, like, especially your initial polygraph, you're going to go in, and it's really clear when you apply to the FBI, like, hey, like, you can't have done this drugs this many times or this type of drugs. Like, and they're clear in the interview process. So by the time you get to the poly, like you should be clear, but you'd be surprised how many people fail the poly, like because of the drug questions. And
can they ask inappropriate questions? Like something that is only like, let's say, between you and your boyfriend, or between something in your family. Something is like just to throw you off.
I have heard of things that I would consider like to be unkind and probably like over the line. That what you're talking about, I think, is even beyond that, right? But like kind of like bringing up things that happen in your family and being like, so how can we trust you? Because they're trying to throw you off, right? And like those are anomalous. I have not like really heard that to be consistent. I've never experienced that. Like I've just experienced the stress of having a guilty conscience because like, I
told a white lie.
He told a lie when I was, still sticking on when I was 5. Some of those lines, right?
Well, like they're looking for terrorists. Like obviously, if there's actually is a terrorist, they're not going to say I'm a terrorist. So like, have you heard of an anecdote where someone was lying, or they thought they were lying, and there was a consequence, or like, have these every 5 years tests procured anything other than just making you nervous? Like, have they ever spotted somebody or someone got fired because of it? Can you think of any time where that was a factor? I mean,
I can think of times where people, especially like maybe the contractors, like weren't able to keep their positions if they didn't pass polygraph tests. But overall, it's not like it's one and done. Yeah. Like if they think you're just nervous, right? Like it's an art, right? Like they're really trying to pull that out and make sure they are fully sussing out exactly why you might be nervous, like why you might have had
Is a polygraph beatable?
I don't know how to beat a polygraph.
No.
If you're asking me,
yeah.
Like it's all about like, when you lie, like your biology changes, right? And I don't know how to control my biology, right? Yeah. So I've seen some things on TV, and I've never looked like at it because I don't want that dirty knowledge. But like that doesn't seem like it would work. That wouldn't work for me. Wasn't there like an Ocean's 12 or something where they did that? Yeah. So
is a polygraph still like admissible in court? Like, do they still take that as fact now? Like,
I don't know that answer, but like the way the polygraph is supposed to be used is it's almost like a confirmation tool. Like it shouldn't be a fishing expedition. You should know going in what the person's answers probably should be, right? It's another way in which to like try to identify leads, identify like ways in which to close out your investigation. So it's not necessarily used as like, I'm going to explore all the things they might have done bad. Like that's not effective, right? It's much better to be used for like very specific purposes. So.
The reason like I ask about the question, if they can ask something that, So it came from actually Russian-speaking community. When you get married, right, and when you're especially an American citizen, and you're bringing somebody, like our wives from different countries, and fake marriages, right? So one of the couple that got busted, they ask question, the officers sit down and they separate them into different rooms, and they said like, all right, what was the last time you guys had sex, and which position did you use? And they ask the same question to the partner, and that was like completely fake marriage, right? Everything for money, just to get a passport. So the person, because they don't even live together, like they never had sex before, and she or he didn't know how to answer. They said totally different things, and they got exposed. One person got deported, another one got penalized as American citizen. But in the other case, the person answered, "I'm not comfortable asking this question," and they said totally okay. So they were overusing it. They were not even actually supposed to use that, but they still used it.
That gives me very icky feelings. It doesn't seem normal or appropriate.
But they get caught. They even overuse the power by throwing you off with a question that they're not supposed to ask. That's how I was like, when you going to FBI, like meeting, and they're like,
no, they're like really trained well, right? And the thing is they're used against like FBI polygraphers. You have to think about they also are like actually doing this to criminals. Yeah. And now they're talking to you and you're like really nervous about I don't know, the sticky gum you stolen your 5, right? There's a difference. And and I think there's a maturity aspect there that really plays out pretty well for most employees.
We want to be respectful of your time. I can't believe it's been almost 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
That's insane.
It's literally happening.
That happened yesterday too. Yeah.
That's what happened.
This is incredible. I do want to make sure we cover present day, your private sector work, how people can stay in contact with you or follow you, or what are your new pursuits, and what is the future, the immediate future looking like for you?
Well, I joined a great company. It is Halcyon, which is an anti-ransomware platform. It's a startup. So I'm having fun going from full bureaucracy to startup world. And I love it because I get to be me. Every day I get to show up as me every day. And I found a company where I'm able to do that. I I knew the CEO lightly before, and we're talking about me coming over on our initial call. And he goes, "Cynthia, I don't want you to think I'm crazy, but I really think ransomware against hospitals is terrorism. I think we can do something about this." And I laughed and I said, I don't think you're crazy. I have multi-point policy proposal that I think we might be able to implement, right? And I think we can do something special here. And he was like, "I want you to come over here," right? And so it's it was easy, it was natural because there was a sense, and there was a sense of mission. Yeah. I couldn't leave countering all these bad things for 20 years and go to a place where I couldn't also counter bad things. Yeah. And it's kind of nice. I was there, at the FBI, you're there responding to attacks, right? With people on their worst days. And now I get to help prevent
I was going to ask, is it mostly preventative, or do you intervene with when current ransomware is happening too?
So it's actually really cool. It's it detects behavior on networks, and it detects it really early. It can detect it when somebody gets on, right? We try to do as early as possible. It's least damage. But even if you get to the end where there's actually ransomware, there's actually encryption, someone locking up the computer, we capture some things for your listeners, what does this say? We capture keys during an attack, and then we can come back and decrypt it without you ever having to interact with the ransomware actors.
That's freaking amazing.
Yeah. So all the people there are really mission focused on we want to stop ransomware, right? Just deny them all the money, eliminate the business risk ransomware, stop. So that's the company.
Can someone still come to the company that's if they're mid attack and they aren't affiliate, they don't have your products, can you still help them, or is it too late?
So we can, right? We have a lot of incident response partners that we partner up with. We have some abilities to help mid, and some cooler technical things. Even if you have a decryptor, we can make it faster, right? We can do a lot of things on the back end. There's some ways we know in which to reverse it as well. But remember what I talked about, the repeats.
Yeah.
Right? The repeat attacks. So we do a lot. Yeah. So we do a lot of even if someone's in the middle of it, that's why we're partnered up with so many incident response companies, because you want to deploy us right away. If you're getting attacked now, as you're getting back online, let's protect it. You don't know if someone has that one credential, they can get back on the system, protect it, right? And we can help out a lot. And we're really good at finding ransomware actors. We have a lot of ransomware experience and expertise. That's how you train the behavior, right? Train the models. And so we're very helpful in helping find it in the first place. But that's the company. What I get to do is really fun. So I'm building out a ransomware research center. So I take the great information that we have and we learn, and put it out publicly, like put it together. But that's not it. We're actually making a call for partners. So we want people, like companies that want to partner and really go dive deep and like be laser focused on ransomware to help us create the best information we can to put out there publicly. But what I also want to do is get independent researchers. So people that are independent, that are like, I know how to find, someone's like vacation house in Sochi, or something along those lines.
Putin's favorite resident, Sochi.
But like really, like if you're an independent researcher, we'd also love you to reach out, because I think there is ways that we can bring independent researchers together and build a community around that, so that we can build out like much bigger pictures about what the ransom actors are doing. Try to get that back in to whatever agency or whatever groups can help do disruption the best. Because
and what's the call to action? Like if people wanted to reach out or wanted to be part of this, or like where do they go? Who do they talk to?
Yeah, so you'd go to halcyon.ai. You can navigate to, I believe it's ransomware-research, but you can also, there's a button at the top of halcyon.ai. It's really clear, Ransomware Research Center. There's a join us button too when you get in there. Join us. Yeah, we'll give you the link. Join us. But yeah, join us. We want to stop ransomware. We want to make it laser focused so that we actually get these bad guys to like go pick on somebody else, make different choices, stop getting money in the first place, and really make a difference for Americans' main streets.
Cynthia, you know what you just did? You literally right now shut down the whole scam baiting community, because they're all going to apply. They're all going to work for you, and it's going to be us and E.
Listen, if I can have an army of scam fighting underneath me, I'm all in. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, I'm hoping this is not the end of our work together.
I know. I was like, my brain is already in places, how we can collab and do things. No, this is amazing. Seriously, we're
is there
so
anything
grateful.
else that we missed that the
public
public should know, or that you want to talk, or anything that you could think of that?
Oh, I actually, when we were talking about MGM and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So question for you, since we're still on this ransomware subject. So one casino decided to pay, another casino absolutely refused to negotiate with criminals and terrorists. What is your intake on those two?
I think it was MGM versus Caesars, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'm always in the don't pay camp if I can help it, right? We talked about some exceptions to that sometimes, but I think that you have to look at yourself in the mirror every day, right? And for the rest of your life, and you don't want to be held hostage. Like if you can, like make sure you don't, but like, man, if you set up things on your systems, get a Halcyon, like get something, like put in your patch management, get good passwords. If you do all those things, like you reduce so much your risk of ever having to be in that position in the first place. So like I'm on team prevent, right, this from happening, but also team assume they might get in because it's a human problem.
Yep.
So what are your alerts? How do you stop it when it gets in? Like plan for the worst, and you won't have to do it. Because gosh, what a terrible situation to be in.
How often you should have, especially for big corporations, especially for casinos, when everybody goes with passports, driver license, data, anything, you know everything about us, about citizens, non-citizens, different countries, tourists. So how often you should have this conversation with your staff?
So you should be empowering your information security leadership, right? Like your chief information security officers, your CTOs, your chief information officers, to be able to have the right type of budget to make these better choices like in their network. And like the big thing for boards, for CEOs, for anyone in the company to remember, even if you're not part of that staff, is it's not one and done. It's not like, oh, I just gave you a bunch of money. Like, why are you asking for more? The point is like, bad guys figure out ways to get around things. You build a wall, they figured out how to scale a wall. So now you got to put barbed wire on top of that wall. Like maybe they figure that out. So now you have to put an alert inside to see if they get in. That the physical world, we kind of understand that. In the virtual world, sometimes I think people don't get it. They don't understand that like this is just constant. It's an arms race. And that just because you made improvements last year, you have to be constantly staying ahead of these actors, or else they're going to get ahead of you, right? They're the incubators, they're innovators in themselves, they're the startups of the criminal world. And
have you guys ever in your experience in 20 years, and I asked actually that question Eric yesterday, I was like, what are the pluses and minuses about Russian spies, right? And he was like, look, they freaking fucking smart. He was like, they are tough. But we had more. We did with the quantity, not with the quality in a way. And question for you, have you guys ever hired somebody that is like not American citizen to work actually for American government?
Maybe dual citizen, but not for a cleared position. That's typically something that you can't do for clearances. But I will say there's a lot of partnership with international law enforcement and international intelligence. But you can see it in any announcement that comes out of FBI, like it's like FBI and German partners and UK partners and the Dutch and especially a lot of the European partners, but even like there's a lot of like the Japanese, like Singaporeans, like there's
no Soviet Unions, right? Like you cannot just go partner, hey, we're gonna secure America, but we're gonna actually hire a couple of Russian hackers.
Listen.
All right, I get it.
I know I said I trust a lot of people, but
all right. Okay, no more questions. Got it.
Yeah,
so how's the weather in Washington?
Well, we're going to find out. We're going to be there in a few weeks.
You're going to find out. But it was so great being here today.
So much fun. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please make sure to send us all those links. We'll put everything in the description below. Cynthia, what an honor, what a pleasure. And thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing to fight scams, fight fraud, fight ransomware, and hopefully we can find a way to collaborate and contribute to that cause.
That'd be great. I have a present for you both, though. So, like, before we stop airing, so have you ever done these challenge coin things where, like, do you know how to do a challenge, like, how to like receive a challenge coin?
Yeah. Okay,
so Halcyon has challenge coins. And so I brought them. We have to do the secret handshake way. We can't like just...
It's like the coins.
Yeah. You can't just like hand them over like they're like nothing, right? You have to do like...
Like it's like
that, right? Like, yeah. So, okay, so like you gotta stand up.
Okay.
Like, and I don't know if your camera's gonna do this. No, we're not gonna stand up. Pretend like we are. Pretend like we're standing.
All right, sit down.
We're gonna pretend. We're gonna pretend. But I'm gonna do the shaking the hands, okay?
All right.
All right, so see?
My name is Artur.
There we go. Yes, thank you so much.
But
yes, no, but that's what you gotta do, right? The big challenge coin thing. There you go.
So cool.
Are we allowed to show?
Can I show it?
Yeah, of course.
Hell yeah. Halcyon, eliminate ransomware worldwide. That is badass. We're making a little
ransomware history.
I love that.
On and on.
That's wow. That's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Very much. That's like so freaking thoughtful.
We just got back from Arkansas and Carroll's County. We got one from local sheriff.
Oh, I'm glad.
This is so cool. We're starting to get a little collection.
Enforcement that we work.
Oh, this is badass.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I'm getting hypnotized.
Yeah.
There is in the middle, right? Is it supposed to be like, I swear on Mother Russia, I never did any cybercrime.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What an honor.
Thank you
Cynthia,
so much.
thanks again. And we'll have you back soon, I hope.
That sounds great.
Yep.
Love it.
All right.
Pictures time.